Give us the top 3 educational priorities for your district, just so we get a sense of what really is most important for you. And then when we come back from the break, we can either expand on that or we can take questions related to that. All right? So give that a quick thought. If you have that already in mind, go right ahead.
Well, we just engaged in strategic planning last year, so this is an easy one. Equity, equity, equity. It's the umbrella over academics, whether it's reading and math, so there are separate goals for that, so we'll count that as 2, right? And then equity is the umbrella under social emotional. As was alluded to by Adam, it doesn't matter what a student's background is, and in Maumee, I'm sure we all have this, we have students from all types of different backgrounds, and that doesn't matter, but what matters is what support does each student need to be successful, both in the classroom and outside the classroom. So we're really, and we're learning, quite frankly. We are not experts with this, but we need to make sure that we are providing equitable services, not equal, but equitable services for all of our students.
I think for us, very similar. Opening day, we talked about the fact that we have 27 students in a class. And as a school district, we do exceptionally well with 25 of those 27 students. But what about number 26 and number 27? What are we doing for those students? How are we meeting them where they are today? And I think what we can do as an organization, and our focus has been, let's provide teachers with those lenses to be able to see those 26 and number 27. Because our mission is to ensure all students achieve their greatest potential, all. And if we're serious about that, we have to make it work for number 26 and number 27. So that's been a primary focus of ours. And of course, beating Maumee is our other. So.
He does look great in purple, doesn't he?
Oh my gosh. Hey, we can help you out with that, Tom.
Thanks.
Well, I'll just go next if you want.
Sure.
Our heavy emphasis this year is really on our continued growth of our staff culture, and we're moving down this Focus 3. If you don't know Tim Kite or any of that stuff, look it up and look at the Focus 3 website. It's an incredible set of tools to help grow culture, but so that's huge. That's our number one priority right now because that filters then down to kids. Student engagement and fun is critical. Kids have choices. I said that before. We've got to make our school environment a place that kids want to be and their parents want to be. And that there's a million things to that. And third, we need to increase our rigor in Oregon City Schools. One of our we've actually done some deep assessments and data collecting. We're great at we're really strong with caring about kids, wanting kids to be, but we're soft because we care about kids so much. We take it easy on them a little bit, and we've got some data to prove that now. And so we're especially at our high school, and we're looking at that. It's like but we got to push them. We got to push them harder, and so those are our focuses.
I'll jump in. Obviously, I have all 5. But I'm going to give you a few that just come right out off the sheet. I think one, we're starting to grow more and more awareness of, and that's early childhood education. I've been on a campaign crusade since day one coming into the position. The best intervention is prevention. If kids are starting 6 years of age into education, and some environmental factors is that in our district, when we do the crawl assessment, which is kindergarten readiness assessment, is that our kids, 80% of them come in not ready. So, meaning that you got 80% of your students coming into a situation needing intervention, 60% of the 80% need intensive intervention and already showing signs of needing special needs and special care, which ultimately is a travesty because if education is the greatest equalizer in America, there's nothing equal when kids are coming to the starting gate already behind. So right now, I'm a little bit fatigued because Dr. Brady sends me 5 articles at midnight, wants all of them read within the last 5 minutes. I'm like, Dr. Brady, I got to get up in the morning to do this panel discussion. But it's on a daily basis, and I started off with him in early childhood, and every day since that time, I've got an article after an article and after article, which attests to there's more than enough research that says the inequity that is happening across this country. Lyndon Johnson declared war on poverty, and one of his great initiatives was Head Start. wraparound services. But then you have individuals say, well, that phases out in the 3rd grade. You didn't do the root analysis, because the root analysis said if you continued wraparound care, kindergarten first and second and third, you would have the same result that happened in early childhood, because wraparound care happened then it fell off kindergarten first, second, and third. Again, address the problem. Because if you're going to address poverty, you've got to address education. And within education, there's a system that's faulty when kids are waiting to 6 years, which ultimately 95% of the brain, neurologically, has already began its developmental phases. Already developed. In other words, they take child 4 years of age, they've already developed a personality. Like I told people, some of them, they already declared they no longer eat vegetables, right? But again, that's that personality that comes out. But early childhood has been a big one, and working with the city and going universal pre-K, as well as the Head Start initiative and all these other factors, is that we begin to address these students within that, not just cognitively, physically, as well as mental. At the same time, we're now getting more money because ultimately we're seeing all these kids with lead levels that are high levels that lead to other problems, physically as well as mentally. So again, early childhood is a big one. Our whole mission and vision is around college and career readiness. And so just as I tell people that I refuse, in essence, that education, we shouldn't launch another traditional school, meaning build another traditional school. Now we've been moving to magnet and academy approaches that are thematically focused on particular career as well as educational choices that kids live within the space, freshmen or 7 through 12, of their career choice. So in other words, we talk about Toledo Technology Academies and engineering school. Those kids are exposed to the highest levels of rigor of mathematics as well as engineering, and that's what they segment off to. Toledo Early College, which is a partner with the University of Toledo. Those kids ultimately achieve anywhere between 60, 90, close to past 100 credit hours of college credit upon graduation. We're excited that we have now going to move them to the Driscoll Center, which ultimately will be their new home. But again, it's a focus school. It's not for everyone. And so we continue to broaden it. We add Jones Leadership Academy of Business. Those who are interested in business can go into the business school. This is what it's there for. Aerospace and Natural Science, it's a new school. We're not going to build a new structure on its own silo. We put the school at the airport. If you're going to learn about planes and such forth, you need to be where you can learn the most about it, and that's at the airport. So the school is at the airport. Next 2020 is going to be the Pre-Med High School of Toledo. Where do you think that's going to be at? The hospital, right? Kids from 7 through 12 will be exposed to everyday hospital reality, the culture of hospitals. Be able to begin to shatter. First period may be English 1. Second period, you may be in brain surgery, observing what's going on. Pharmacology, pre-med, pre-bioengineering, all those factors happen within that location, as well as guest lecturing, internships, and all those other things within it. But at the same time, with the bilingual school and all the other things we continue to launch, may not service everyone, but it serves someone. And so when someone says, well, Dr. Grant, how did you guys increase your African-American graduation rate by 20%? I said, it's not because we looked at every African-American and said, what are we going to do with you? We brought in the reality of opportunity that ultimately reflected everyone, and they were interested, and minority as well as those in general education were interested, that drew their attention and say, this is why I come to school. So if it's pre-med, or if it's the auto mechanic, like the young man who said in the carpentry program, he said, I didn't think I was good in anything until Mr. Materney showed me a way of carpentry that now I feel like I'm an expert in something. So this man saved my life. So again, teachers are saving lives every day because they're exposing their level of expertise and curriculum in a classroom that kids are identifying and developing a relationship with. And guess what? They see a life for them beyond high school. So those are kind of some of the things in just developing those pathways where kids seamlessly go through that ultimately walk out ready for career entry. And so we're excited to continue to do that, but in partnership with the University of Toledo, ProMedica, and all these other industries that make our reality as superintendents much easier, particularly when we don't have the funding to do it. They help come in and put that funding together to make it happen.
For Ottawa Hills this year, big focus for us in our district. High achieving district, students who do very well, staff that is well trained, but sometimes I think a focus in education can be a lot on what and how. And for us this year, we're talking about really getting back to why we do what we do and finding that why in us to drive what we do each day for kids. So that's our theme this year, and we're excited about it. Big piece for us is challenging and inspiring our students to achieve at all levels and really making sure we're focusing on all students' needs. And then lastly, just increased innovation and encouraging our staff and students that any idea is a good idea. bring it forward. It may be new and out of the box, but let's talk about it, and really looking for those innovative ways to move our district forward. So we're excited about those this year.
So Washington Local, it's not really any secret that they've been kind of through the ringer. They've had more than their share of turn in the barrel, I think, at this point. So really, with 15 days on the job, what we've been talking about.
Come on, Katie, you don't have those.
With my inside team and principals has been caring for each other so we can care for our students because we care about their future. I think you can't do a whole lot more than that when you start, on their first day was my first day. So we stood up together and we talked a lot about honoring the things in the past that made Washington Local what they are. They've got a better brand than almost any place I've ever been. Unbelievable spirit families that are generational, that work in the district, that live in the district, just a sense of community pride like I've really never quite experienced. And I've been some pretty amazing places, but this is really something special. And I think just reminding them that they are who they are. And let's dust our jeans off. I just did share that I had to buy my first pair of jeans. I didn't actually own jeans. I did. So really, that is our focus. We need some healing, but we have to keep our focus on our kids, and then I think the rest of it for this year will take care of itself. We can have the kinds of conversations once they feel like they're safe and they're cared for, and they can take those kinds of risks. The rest will come later. Right now, we're just going to heal.
I think I'm left, and since Mr. Hostler mentioned that his first priority was to beat Maumee, our first priority really is to beat Perrysburg, which is pretty easy. So,
There it is.
So there's goal one. In all seriousness, though, a lot of the same things that you're hearing here. In our district right now, we're having the conversations like Simon Sinek in his TED Talk about the why, the how, the what, and that's driving our conversations about what do we need to do for the future to prepare our students for success upon graduation, both from a personal perspective, academic perspective, but also be an active member of our society. And what does that look like? How do we get them there? From 21st century learning skills to personal skills to strong academic knowledge that they need to possess, and so forth. What's that foundation of success look like in our district? I've been focusing on the fact that our second graders will graduate in 2030. When I mention that to our staff or to our administrators, they kind of think, oh wow, 2030, that's far off. But when you associate a student with that, a second grade student, it starts to get a little bit more concrete to them. And so that's really been our discussions of how do we move our district forward. We've worked with Battelle for Kids to develop a portrait of a general, which outlines where we worked with our community and stakeholders to develop some key characteristics that we're looking for within our students to make them successful upon graduation. So that's really been our focus over the last few years.